could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. I wish that I could change what you wanted. Why we always looking for more? Why we always looking for more?
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome here to race number 8 of the 5th season of the NNSCRA Duracell Cup Series. It's our first road course stop of the season, and we're doing it internationally. It's for the third time. We are at the Pukekohe Raceway here in Pukekohe, New Zealand. This is going to be a good one here today. We've had two previous races that have, let's be honest, been kind of surprising here at this road course in who the race winner ended up being. Not necessarily the dominant car of the day going to victory lane. James Qualls, the inaugural winner back in Season 3. Charles Belding, who is in the field here today, comes in as the defending winner of this race, so he'll look to go 2 in a row. And then everybody else that's in the field, every single one of them, aside from the driver of the 19, they're all looking for their first win here at this road course. Kind of interesting. You think of road courses, you think of Sonoma, you think of Watkins Glen, you think of the Indianapolis road course, the Charlotte Roval. You don't really think of this racetrack, but this racetrack has definitely been an interesting one in past seasons, and that's why it is looking like it's going to pretty much be a mainstay on the Duracell Cup Series schedule. Now, before we get into the events of today and begin today's race, obviously, those that will have known that tuned in last week unfortunately had to cut the broadcast short. You didn't miss a whole lot. Basically, the results that you saw at that point in time ended up being the final results. No positions changed hands in those final 10-15 laps. So Austin LaPlante was the winner of last week's race at the Springfield Mile. The 48 team now has a 1 in their respective team win column. Matt Haas brought it home second, and so therefore the 8 team is currently coming into this race as the points leader, which you will see the points in mere moments. Amanda Evans brought it home with a great run, the 65 in third. Charles Sanford brought it home in the top 5 and 4th, and Joshua Osborne picked up 22 spots during the course of that race to start 27th and finish inside of the top 5. Trey Wright, Cole Baker, Cody Smart, Benny Watson, and Carter Friesen. That was your top 10. And a big one in all of that was Cole Baker's finish up inside the top 10, because if you'll remember, he was the first driver to run into trouble in the early stages of that race. So a nice comeback run for him in the closing stages of that race. So that was your top 10 finishing results from last week's race. We'll look at the point standings in just a moment as a result of those events, but now the 48 team currently becomes the 7th different team to go to victory lane this season. And remember, only 10 teams make it into the playoffs, so we've already filled up more than 2/3 of that spot right now, and there's still a big chunk of the season left to go. Before we get to your starting lineup and everything here today, let's take a look at the point standings coming into this one, as only 2 winning race teams right now up inside of the top 10. Of course, your points leading team, the number 8 team that won the Daytona 500, they now have 14 points over the Pigeon Racing number 19 entry. Gunther Motorsports right there as well. They're about 26 points back in 3rd, and then the 93 team with William Micros' win back at Manassas, they currently sit in 4th. Right now, the 8 and the 93 teams, the only former race-winning teams that have actually got themselves up there in the top 10 in points. Then you've got the S3 Motorsports team, the 809. They're currently sitting in 5th. 65 team, after Amanda Evans' podium finish last week, now jump up to 6th. The 78 team out of Junction Racing, they're 7th. And then the 27 team jumped up into the top 10 with Osborne's top 5. They're 8th in standings. Also, the 38 team moves up into the top 10 with back-to-back finishes that were really good in back-to-back weeks with Jordan Lopez and Trey Wright. So, a good job by that team that were down really far in the point standings. They are now up to 9th in the standings, and rounding out the top 10 right now is the one team out of Michael Norman Motorsports. Go a little bit further down, that's where you get to a lot of the former race-winning teams. Lake Effect Auto Sports team, they're 11th in the point standings. Bradley Ream, who had that victory back at ISM, he's in the field here today. Pigeon Racing's number 32 team right now in 15th with Ryan Acosta's win back at Bristol. You've got TCW Racing up in 18th place with Cole Baker's good run last week. Obviously, the victory that he had at Atlanta has them in the win column. And there you see the 48 team now up to 20th in the point standings. They were 27th in points heading into last week's race at Springfield. And they, as you see, have the race winner sticker there as well on the right side of their statistic column. Here's the drivers here today that the teams that are going to be obviously looking for a little bit of redemption. The win a couple of weeks ago at Las Vegas for Roberto Crown Jr. That team has started free-falling since then. They are 21st in the points, the furthest down of the teams that have won so far this season. You've also got teams down here like the 39 of KB Racing Enterprises, the 2 out of Young Motorsports. I mean, you've got Dylan Young and Adam Garcia. Those 2 were multi-time winners last season. RJ Bishop had great runs as well. As an Uncharted driver, it's amazing they're down there. You've also got Legend Racing down here, the 15 team. I believe Benjamin Miles is doing the driving duties here today in that ride, so we'll obviously be looking to make a comeback there. Correction, Danny Wells actually in the 15 car here in this race. And you look at the 93 team up there in points, amazing. The 39 is down here. You look at the 65 up there in owner points, but you look at the 12 down here for Evan Gardner Motorsports, 24th in the stands. I mean, it's amazing just how many of these different teams have multiple cars in these races. Some of them do really well, and some of them don't do so well. But another thing that we have to remember as well, 3 out of the last 4 weeks, the team that has come into this race 27th in the point standings have gone to victory lane. That could be bringing some hope to the driver of the 15 car, Danny Wells. But we're going to have to wait and see if all that's going to come to fruition. We're going to go down trackside now for those most famous words in motorsports right after the singing of today's national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare
Drivers, start your engines.
Pace car gonna lead the field around this 11 corner, 2.9 kilometer road course. That equals out to just about 1.8 miles. And a couple of treacherous turns down here in the first couple of corners may be the difference maker in today's race. Here's your starting lineup for today's event, as it's going to be Zach Rogers who's going to lead us to green. He'll be alongside of Jose Mills. Danny Wells and Stephen Pollard III, they make up row number 2. Chris Dollerton and William Micros in row 3. Row 4 will be Vince Almriego and Sean Arndt. Row 5, Ryan Brommer and Stephen Colon, who got the runner-up finish last time these drivers were at ISM. Nathan Ormond will share row 6 with Trent Dunham, David Campos, and Bruna Harumi in row 7. Diego Yepes and the defending winner, Charles Belding, there in row 8. RJ Bishop and Zachary Fitzwater in row 9. And the top 20 completed by Tristan Allen and Anthony McCrory. Last time out's winner at ISM, Bradley Ream. He's going to line up in 21st alongside of Matt McIntyre. Row 12 finds Ali Rain and William Brock. Jessica Shelton and JT Bryant there in row 13. And bringing up the final row in 27th will be Daniel Bouchard, and 28th, Andrea Serra. 35 laps of racing here today. At least one pit stop had to be made for these drivers. It's a very treacherous pit road. It is actually a double file pit road. Pit stops to the left and right side of the access road. We'll see how it all plays out as Zach Rogers Chevrolet and Jose Mills Ford Mustang come down the long winding straightaway. Flagman has the green flag in his hands. It's waving. Let's roll at Pukekohe. And we're already 3 wide here, inside of the top 10. Little contact exchange there between SP3 and Chris Dollerton. 3 wide back here with Sean Arndt, Nathan Ormond, Ryan Brommer in that mix as well. Stephen Colon on the far left side. As everybody gets themselves ready for the heavy braking right-hander. And Rogers has pulled away with the top position. Looks like Jose Mills going to slot into second. Danny Wells into third. Pollard into fourth as he hits the curbing there. Checked up Dollerton just a little bit, and so Dollerton will slot into the 5th position. Battle side by side is going to be for 6th. Vince Almriego looking to make the pass on William Micros. Not quite clear. Now he is as they head into turn number 1. Interesting camera that they have there in the middle of turns 2 and 3. Kind of like the Fox Gopher cam. You don't get it for very long though, and it's not exactly the best of angles if I'm perfectly honest, but instead of swapping between camera to camera in that section of the corridor, we're just going to have to deal with it as Dollerton takes a peek to driver's right on Stephen Pollard III. Oh, but he got checked up. Danny Wells had a horrible corner. And that completely slowed the momentum of Chris Dollerton. Somebody else had an issue back there as well. It might have been the 47 of Stephen Colon. He was awfully slow there as well. And I think that a big reason for that is if you try and drive that corner, that right-hander, kind of a paperclip right-hander, too deep, you're going to deal with wheel spin, and that's really going to hurt your corner exit. Oh, there was definitely contact there between Danny Wells and Chris Dollerton. But Wells looks like he would have the advantage, the preferred line coming down here into the right-hand turn. Vince Almriego believes that as well, as he's going to tuck in line behind the Air Jordan Chevrolet, but they couldn't make the move. Even working together, and ooh, look at this. Bumper to bumper, pushing each other through the corner. William Micros was in the rear deck lid of Almriego, and Sean Arndt was obviously very much so in the rear deck lid of Micros because the Cricket Wireless Chevrolet has front-end damage now. Got to be careful in that one particular corner because different drivers have different braking zones, and if you're right up on the back bumper of somebody, you could end up having damage like that. Somebody else has gotten some early damage. That's Charles Belding, as well as the car behind him, RJ Bishop. Bishop's actually been hit from behind as well. And the car just ahead, Diego Yepes, has front end damage. So there was a big stack up with a number of drivers. I don't know who ran into the back of RJ Bishop. Another car back here, William Brock with damage, and he's got rear end damage as well. So there's been a lot of stacking up that's going on here for sure. Oh, there's Matt McIntyre. He was also involved in a stack up, as was Daniel Bouchard, and I don't see any damage visibly on JT Bryant, but he is way back here. Can't see his car, but that's Bradley Ream in the 74 coming down pit road. And Anthony McCrory was just back there as well on pit lane. Bradley Ream's coming back out onto the racetrack. And we'll see if we can drop back there so you can see the 55 of Anthony McCrory. There he is as Daniel Bouchard now pulls into pit lane. And the likelihood of us having cautions here, very slim to none. At least full course yellows. So if you end up running into trouble here under green, that's almost your day over. So a couple of drivers already with problems. Most notably would be the 55 and the 74. 55 team third in the point standings coming into this one, and the 74 team about 3 weeks removed from them going to victory lane with Bradley Ream. They are 11th in the point standings, so certainly not what they needed. The 39 of Daniel Bouchard coming down pit lane. That team's already 25th in the standings, so they certainly did not need a bad performance here today, as they're going to come out ahead of the race leader, but I believe that they are at least one lap down. Maybe they got out still on the lead lap. We'll double check on that next time by. Bradley Ream has lost one lap to the leaders. Anthony McCrory right now scored -2, and I believe he still sits on pit road. Last week at Springfield, we saw no lead changes. Austin LaPlante led all 60 laps. It's very rare to see lead changes at a road course outside of potential pit strategies, so we'll see if the good starting track position for Zach Rogers could translate into him picking up a victory here. The question on the finishing results from Springfield, basically if you look at what the running order was when the broadcast went off, no positions changed. So that was pretty much the official finishing results from that Springfield race. This battle for third has been going on since the drop of the green flag. Stephen Pollard III and Chris Dollerton. Pollard trying to keep the 09 team up in the top 5 in the standings. Dollerton trying to get the 32 team into the top 10 for the first time this season. As you got your own little battles going on here. The battle for the lead between Rogers and Mills. The battle for third between Pollard and Dollerton. Then you drop back here and you got a battle between Danny Wells and Vince Almriego. Sean Arndt, despite the front end damage, still soldiering on there, so apparently that's not really affecting the speed of his race car. Ryan Brommer just behind him trying to catch. And then behind them you got Nathan Ormond, Trent Dunham in the mix. And we mentioned about Belding with the front end damage. David Campos, who's trying to keep the 19 team at bay for that current points lead. Looks like it might be another good points day for them. Remember 2 weeks ago, heading into Bristol, I believe it was. Yeah, at Bristol, those two teams were actually tied for the points lead. Well, right now, in the last 2 weeks, this week included, it has been advantage 8 car. Bruna Harumi right now in the 13th position, and then you've got battling just inside the top 15 here. Yepes holding on to 14th. Stephen Colon right now in 15th, and Charles Belding trying to hold off Zachary Fitzwater. This would be considered Fitzwater's home track. Fitzwater, the resident Australian. And so just a little ways away from Australia here in the Isle of New Zealand. Certainly was looking for a much better run than what he's on right now, currently holding down the 17th position, but it's still early. The one thing I would have a little bit of a issue here for the drivers that have damaged, even though they're running fairly well, guys like Bruno Harumi and Sean Arndt, is not the speed that it's costing them on the racetrack, but the amount of time it's going to cost them on pit road. Because you come down pit lane, you take a 4-tire stop, get that thing full of fuel, you're down and away, that's it. But you got that damage there, and you might have to spend a little bit of extra time on pit lane. Wow, Dollerton really blew that corner. And we're going to see that the longer this run goes on as well, because it's not exactly cool here in New Zealand. It is overcast, which helps a little bit, but the temperature here, definitely up there in the 80 to 90 degree range. That has been saturating this track with heat, making it very difficult for these drivers as they enter into these braking zones. When the rubber is laid down, it makes it slicker. The tires wear and the grip goes away, and so these guys are every single lap going to have more and more and more of their hands full with these race cars, and they're going to be screaming at their crew chiefs, hey, I want to come down, I want to get some fresh tires. But I think right now the strategy is try and at least make it to somewhere around the lap 16, lap 17 mark to try and make it the rest of the way. Dollerton had a much better 2, 3, and 4 that time as he's right on the back bumper of Stephen Pollard III. Is he going to try and intimidate him down the straight? Nope, he is going to look to the inside. Let's see if he's going to be able to outbrake SP3 here. Side draft has the advantage. Looks to outbrake him. Can he get back to the throttle? I think he's got the pass made. But Pollard's going to battle back. Who has the advantage down in this corner is the question. Ooh, swing low, swing wide for each driver, and Dollerton completed the pass. Look at that. Textbook. May have taken him a couple extra corners to actually complete the pass, but he indeed has now moved up into the 3rd position. Pollard's starting to fall back now with Dollerton completing the move for 3rd place. He drops back into the clutches of Danny Wells and Vince Almriego, who kind of settled their differences a few laps ago and now have been able to reel in these other guys up inside of the top 5. Well, you ever wondered what it's like to take a lap around Pukekohe Raceway? Well, when Zach Rogers, who's got a rear decklet full of Jose Mills, gets back around to the start-finish line, we're going to go on board with one of the best in the business when it comes to road courses, the driver of the number 6 Red Bull Chevrolet, and see how he maneuvers around this racetrack. "13 laps completed." A couple of interesting points there when we rode on board with Rogers. Only 2 places on the racetrack does he shift down. Right here in these corners and then over in the heavy braking zone, right-hander. Gets down to 2nd gear in 2, 3, and 4. And then in the right-hand corner, he actually got down to 1st gear to try and get a little bit more bite on exit. And we heard him lift there in the next to last corners as well. Could not take those full throttle. Really bailed out of the throttle right here in this particular area, hitting that rumble strip with the left side tires. And then here is Wells swinging it up as, look at this! May have swung a little too wide. Jose Mills wants to take advantage. Car coming off pit road. JT Bryant in the way. Oh, this is not going to be good. Oh, catching the curb a little bit there was Jose Mills. He's still going to try and stay to the driver's right of the 6 car, and now they're going to catch up to the 77 in the heavy braking zone. This is not good for either driver. This is not ideal. JT Bryant has an opportunity to get out of the way, but I don't think he's going to take it. Which line does he block? Which line does he hold up? He's swerving left. He's swerving right. Dollarton's loving this because he's getting to close in on these guys and make it a 3-man fight for the top position. And neither one were able to get around JT Bryant. Bryant is going to continue to hold them up. But Mills will complete the pass. Jose Mills, 10-time winner in the Duracell Cup Series. Looking for his 11th career victory and first year of Season 5. It's our first lead change of the day. It took place on the 15th lap of this race. And keep an eye on the 32 car. Last time by, Mills ran a 57.017, a 2.37 for Rogers, but a 56.158 for Chris Dollarton, over a second faster than either of the top two. Trying to outbrake JT Bryant here. Not able to do it. Bryant going to keep the leaders in the rearview mirror again, and this has got to be frustrating for Jose Mills and Zach Rogers. Here comes Dollarton. 4 car lengths, 3 car lengths, closing up on the top 2. And pit stops, by the way, still looming. Meanwhile, 3-way battle for the 4th position. Pollard, Wells, Almriego. Almriego a little wide there as he's going to lose a bit of track position. William Micros trying to close in along with Ryan Brommer. They're in 7th and 8th. And how about Trent Dunham? Now up inside of the top 10. He just took a spot away from David Campos. Campos right now in 11th. Let's check on Belding, who still has that damage he'll have to repair when he comes in. He's in 16th. And with the 55 currently down and out, 3 laps down, it's looking like that 8 team's going to be keeping that points lead going into next week, which, by the way, is going to be at the 2-mile speedway / super speedway of Michigan International. We'll see the Tri-Terry drivers for the 3rd time this season take to the Irish Hills. That, of course, going to be, circumstances notwithstanding, next Saturday. Green flag scheduled to fly at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Well, JT Bryant's still ahead of the leader, so he is still on the lead lap. 17 laps completed here. All 28 drivers still on the racetrack, still running. 26 of them, including the 77, on the lead lap. Anthony McCurry is 3 laps down in 27th, and Bradley Ream is 28th, 4 laps down to the race leaders. And at this point in time now, these drivers can make it the rest of the way on fuel. We know this now. It's now a question of when do they want to come to pit lane. And bear in mind, too, that if you look up here at our top 3, 2 of those drivers are out of Pigeon Racing. They're teammates, the 6 and the 32. But I don't think you necessarily have teammates at a road course. You really don't have teammates anywhere outside of a super speedway, as Danny Wells. Whoa, he tried to clear Stephen Pollard III. Can't quite do it. Pollard going to battle back here. But Danny Wells trying to take the 4th position away. Trying to look and see who would have been the driver at this point in time that has picked up the most spots since the drop of the green flag, as Ryan Brommer steps out late on Vince Almriego. Trent Dunham to the inside of Sean Hart. This is where all the fun is, from 4th place on back. As things stand right now, I believe the driver that has picked up the most spots, well, it's kind of a toss-up. There's nobody really towards the back that's actually picked up a ton of positions. So, you know, at the most, drivers have picked up maybe 3-4 spots during this race. But it's not been anything monumental. William Micros really messed up those couple of corners there, trying to mount a comeback here down the back straight against Sean Arndt. That would be for 8th place. Wells could not complete the pass on Pollard, and 2nd place battle is on. Dollarton took a try at Zach Rogers. Nothing doing. Rogers hitting the rumble strip there, kills his momentum. Dollarton tries to cut the corner a little bit there off the final turn, but not able to get to the inside of Zach Rogers either. As these two battle, Jose Mills is just driving away. All of a sudden, a 3-way battle for the race lead is turned into a battle for 2nd, taking place almost a full second behind the race leader. I mentioned about how treacherous this pit road is. Well, under green flag conditions, maybe not as treacherous as if we made pit stops under caution. It is a double file pit road where you come down the center of pit lane, and depending on where you qualified in the race, you either pit to the left side or to the right side. Gives you a double row of pit stalls. Now, we've seen in the past where when drivers come down pit lane, there is a fight over real estate, and pit road can bring an end to your race just as easily as an incident on the racetrack. Oh, look at this. Dollarton going to try and make a move here into the first couple of corners. This is going to hurt his entry, but we'll see if he can stay alongside of Rogers. Rogers might just give up the spot, actually. Nope, drives it deep there again to the outside. All depends on the momentum here down the straight. I think Dollarton's got it. Let's find out what happens here in the heavy braking zone. Oh, we got it. He got it. He didn't even have to wait until the braking zone. He clears for the position. So now, let's see what Dollarton, now up to the runner-up spot, can do, trying to reel in Jose Mills. Chris Dollarton, the former champion from Season 1, trying to see if he can find victory lane for the 2nd time this season for the 32 team, and for the first time here for him in Season 5. As we'll drop back here again. Something that I also observed when we were on board there with Zach Rogers for the lap around Pukekohe was the fact that he spent so much time in 4th gear in places where I thought we would actually see him downshift. That says to me that if other drivers are adapting the same approach of these corners, they're running higher RPMs in 4th gear and saving fuel. If you're in the higher gear, you're going to save a lot more fuel than if you downshift to 1st or 2nd gear. It's a lot more fuel usage to be able to get the better exit off the corner. And ooh, a little contact there. Ryan Brommer got into the back of Danny Wells, moved him up the track just a little bit. Everybody stacked up behind, and now they're headed for pit road. Pollard, Danny Wells, everybody's coming in. Are the top 3 in? Yes, they are. I don't see anybody that is rolling the dice and staying out. William Brock had already made a pit stop the previous lap. So everybody is on pit road this time. Just look how tight these pit stalls are. It is not easy to get onto pit lane, as you saw right there. There's some contact. That was Stephen Colon in another car. I think that might have been Andrea Serra in the 99. And they have got an issue there. See about the fallout from that as Jose Mills still sits on pit road. Did he get hit with a speeding penalty? I don't know. Winner off pit lane was Zach Rogers. Zachary Fitzwater came out 2nd, and Dollarton's going to come out in 3rd. I don't know what Fitzwater did for strategy, but man, it worked out to his benefit. He's now up inside of the top 5. Dollarton 3rd, Brommer is now 4th, and David Campos moves up to 5th. 6th is going to be Trent Dunham. Actually, correction, that's JT Bryant, because remember, JT had the earlier pit stop. And I think that Bryant could make it the rest of the way. So I don't know if he'll necessarily be able to hang on to a top 10, but he might be able to hold on to a top 15, even with that damage. Dunham just got around him for 7th. Yepes just took 8th. Almriego right now, I believe, would be in the 9th position. And Sean Arnkern completes top 10. Where did the 98 go? 38. One of those numbers. Jose Mills now all the way back in 24th position. What happened to him on pit road? I didn't see it. But man, that's going to be an interesting one to kind of go back later on and find out what exactly happened. I don't know if he got hit with a speeding penalty or not. Maybe he had an illegal entry to pit road, that access road. It's very difficult sometimes to maneuver. But now it's going to be 10 laps for Zach Rogers to try and hold off Chris Dollerton. And looked like Dollerton had the better long-run car, but there is going to be a lap machine between the two, that in the form of Anthony McCrory. Looks like Andrea Serra did return back to the racetrack, as did Stephen Colon. I don't think Colon got affected all that much. He's right now in the 10th position, but Andrea Serra was squeezed against the steel guardrail pit wall, between the pit wall and the 47, and that's why she is as far back as she currently runs. Last car in the lead lap in the 26th position. Let's take a look at lap times. 56.212 for Zach Rogers. 55.975 for Dollerton. So that last time by, he was quicker, but now he's got Anthony McCurry to deal with. If he can get by McCurry... Oh, McCurry's coming to pit lane. Wow, that is maybe the biggest break for Chris Dollerton. Somebody else was diving onto pit road too, I thought I saw there. No, but it's just the 55. So that is a huge break for Dollerton now as he continues to try and reel in Zach Rogers. That time by 2/10 quicker than the 6 machine. He's got to make up about 3.5 seconds though, so based off of our timing and scoring, he is running out of time. Car is slow. Zachary Fitzwater is out of fuel. That's why he had so fast a pit stop. He must have either gotten forced out of or never got into his pit box, and he is out of fuel on the back straight. If that car comes to a stop, that might bring out a yellow flag. If he comes to a stop on the racing surface with oncoming traffic, they may throw the yellow flag here. We've got to keep an eye. We don't really have caution lights around here, but going to keep an eye on race control and see if they do throw the yellow. That car is down to 11, 10, 9 miles per hour. It is going to come to a stop. Are they going to throw a full course yellow for the 12 car? Now backing up. I don't think there's any oncoming traffic, so we might stay green. Oh, there's an oncoming car of Daniel Bouchard. Nope, we're still green. Still green. I'm going to keep an eye on race control here as we follow the race leader again, who's coming down into the vicinity of the 12 car. The 12 car is off track. He's backed it off onto the grass, away from the racing surface to avoid a yellow flag coming out. And Dollerton, I guarantee you, was a driver that would have loved to have seen the yellow flag waving right now, because it would have cut the race lead down. Fitzwater has made it back to pit road now via teleportation, and Rogers will hit the line for 7 to go, but this race is not over yet. Oh boy, McCurry's back onto the racetrack. He's going to come out behind Rogers and ahead of Dollerton, who has been doing a really good job of cutting into Zach Rogers' lead. He's got it now down to 2.3 seconds. Now, I don't think Anthony McCurry has a car strong enough to get up here and battle with Zach Rogers. Hopefully, he would move out of the way of Dollerton and let the Pigeon Racing teammates battle it out for this victory, but he doesn't have to. McCurry right now, the only car 3 laps down in 27, so he's not really battling anyone for position. Fitzwater right now 2 laps down, as now McCurry's coming back to pit lane. So Anthony McCurry, I'll tell you what, if we had a gentleman in this field here today, it would have to be the driver of the 55, realizing the situation, realizing he was in between the two race leaders and just getting out of the way. Battle may be on for third before all is said and done. David Campos has reeled in Ryan Brommer, and with the 12 car running out of fuel, the one of Trent Dunham has now moved up into the top 5, trying to hold off Diego Yepes and Vince Almriego. Now, we talk about it every week, teams that need to rise to the occasion with good performances based on where they are inside the point standings. Well, you're looking at quite a number of them here this week. The 6th team leading this race, 19th in the point standings. The 0-1, which is currently scored in 7th place, they are 22nd in points. 31 car running in 3rd. That team is 23rd in the point standings. So great performances by all of those teams. And going to get some good points here today as well. Fitzwater got the fuel in the car, back out onto the racetrack, albeit 3 laps down. And he's going to be in front of the race leader, Zach Rogers, now. And we saw how slow traffic affected the battle for the race lead around the midway point, losing Zach Rogers the race lead to Jose Mills. Now, Chris Dollerton has cut down what was about 3.5 seconds when the pit stop cycled through, now to 1.8 seconds. And I think he's got enough time here. If Rogers has too much difficulty with Fitzwater, Dollerton's got a shot. It's funny, we were talking about 3 weeks ago. Ooh, is now Rogers going to drive to the inside of Fitzwater to try and complete that pass as quickly as possible. But about 3 weeks ago, we were talking about Chevrolet and their inability to get to victory lane. They've now found victory lane in back-to-back weeks with Ryan Acosta at Bristol and Austin LaPlante. Last week at Springfield, Rogers screwed up those corners big time, and here comes Dollerton. The odds right now very much in favor of 3 wins in a row for the Chevrolet Bowtie manufacturer, as they right now hold all 3 of the podium positions. All 3 of those spots are actually Pigeon Racing cars, with Rogers in the 6, Dollerton in the 32, and Brommer in the 31. Remember the last time these drivers were on track at ISM, it was a 1-2 finish for Lake Effect Autosport. We could be looking at a 1-2-3 finish here today for Pigeon Racing. But the question of who it is that's going to get that checkered flag is still to be decided. Dollerton is there. And I wouldn't count out Brommer or Campos yet. Fitzwater up to speed, holding these guys up. Rogers completes the pass. Dollerton really screwing up that corner there. Fitzwater had to back off to avoid running into Rogers that might have stacked the 32 up again. And that was a power dive bomb move by Zach Rogers that may have just gotten him this checkered flag. That was a big-time move that had to be made, but it was risky, and it paid off. Now Dollerton saying, hey, 12 car, out of my way. I want to be able to still battle for this win. He actually bumped him out of the way, but he's not going to be able to complete the pass. And Brommer and Campos are closing in. It's going to be 2 laps to go this time. How ironic would it be in the first half of this race, Zach Rogers started on the pole, lost the lead because of slow traffic to Jose Mills. Got the lead back after the round of green flag pit stops. And then, with the aid of, well, not necessarily the aid, but with a gutsy move to get around Fitzwater, lap traffic might be the key to him getting this checkered flag. Dollerton's not giving up, though. He's going to dive back to the inside of Zachary Fitzwater to try and complete this pass and then have a shot with 1 lap to go at Zachary Fitzwater. Is he still alongside the 12? Not quite. He's still looking. Fitzwater goes wide. Dollerton's still alongside. Can he stay alongside here? He's got the pass completed, I believe. 1 lap to go here at Pukekohe. Rogers has about 3 car lengths back to Chris Dollerton. Campos to the right side of Brommer. He'll take the third spot into 2. Chris Dollarton either has to have really good corners here, but I think he also would need Zach Rogers to have a mistake. And Zach Rogers has nobody in front of him. He can choose his braking zone. He's going to force Dollarton to do something different. Both these drivers looking for their first win on the season. Heavy braking zone here into the right-hander. Dollarton closes up to half a car length. Right onto the back bumper. Rogers back to the throttle sooner, though. Opens the gap back up. Left-hander, right-hander, to the checkered flag. Dollarton, one last drive to the inside, but I don't think he's going to get there. Maybe he will. Is he alongside? I think he is. Photo finish, and it's Rogers who barely hangs on to the victory. How did Dollarton get that run at the end? I don't know. What was the interval? 36 one-thousandths of a second. The closest finish of the season takes place at a road course of all places. I have no idea how Dollarton got that kind of a run off the final corner. We've seen all race long, you run that low out of the final right-hander, you lose a lot of momentum on the straightaway, but he kept the momentum going and almost sniped the victory from Zach Rogers. But congratulations to Zach going coast to coast here today at Pukekohe. A hard-fought victory for him, and he is going to pick up the first victory of the season for himself and the first victory of the season for the 6th team that came into this race 19th in the point standings. I'll tell you what, we haven't used it at all in this race, haven't really had to. We're going back for a replay of that finish and see if we can get a better camera angle to do justice of how close that finish was. This is where I thought the race was over. Dollarton making one last attempt on the inside. I thought he was going to have to bail out of the throttle, but I think he kept his pedal to the floor and just prayed that it stuck. And at this point in time here, normally the 32 would be losing momentum and Rogers would be pulling away to the start-finish line. Look at how the 32 continues the forward momentum. Gets up to the driver number side door. And then by the time they get to the start-finish line, I think he's just about to the front wheel. There's your start-finish line, and there it was, about maybe a little less than half a car length. Certainly much closer than I expected it was going to be. And what a victory there for Zach Rogers. So it'll be the first win of the season for the 6th team. That now makes our 8th different winning car, which means right now only 2 spots would be available in the playoffs should the season start now for drivers to point their way in. And, oh yeah, by the way, we're only in race number 8. There's still another 18 regular season races to go. But here's the rest of your finishing results from today's event. You've got Rogers with the win, Dollarton second. Dave Campos breaks up the Pigeon Racing 1-2-3 finish, and that 8 team continues to be consistent as he's going to be putting that 8 team further up there at the top of the point standings heading into Michigan next week. Ryan Brommer getting 3rd. Trent Dunham going to bring it home in 4th. 5th place for Vince Almriego. That's a well-needed run for the 0-1 team. Diego Yepes brings it home in 7th. 8th place is Stephen Colon, William Micros in 9th, and Charles Belding made a nice comeback run there as well. The, well, defending winner coming in, but not defending winner outgoing. Going to bring it home inside of the top 10. Sean Arntt's had some good performances the last couple of times he's been in behind the wheel of the 95. He finishes 11th today. Tristan Allen 12th. 13th for Nathan Orman. 14th, JT Bryant. Matt McIntyre going to finish in 15th place. 16th was Jessica Shelton. 17th, Stephen Paul with the 3rd. 18th, William Brock. 19th, Danny Wells, and Allie Rain completed the top 20. Heartbreak of the race, and still uncertain what happened to him, was Jose Mills, as he had an extended stay on pit road after coming down pit lane as the race leader. He's going to finish in the 21st position. RJ Bishop in 22nd. 23rd for Andreas Serra, Bruno Harumi, and Daniel Bouchard, 24th and 25th. Last cars on the lead lap. Zachary Fitzwater running out of fuel there. He's going to finish 4 laps down in 26th. Bradley Ream, 3 weeks removed of his first career victory, finishes 5 laps down in 27th. And Anthony McCurry, early damage, never got out of the gate. He'll finish last, 28th. 7 laps down here today. Going to be a big hit in the point standings for that 55 team that came into this race third in the point standings. A couple other teams are going to take some hits. The 38 team with Jose Mills, they came into this race 9th in the point standings. And the 65 team of Evan Gardner Motorsports, they came in 6th in the standings. So those teams are going to possibly be outside the top 10 in the points when we head to Michigan next week, and we'll look to mount a comeback. But congratulations to Zach Rogers on the victory. Gotta check here real quickly and see. I believe that is Rogers' 6th career victory. It is. That is his 6th career victory in the Duracell Cup Series, and it comes here today at the Pukekohe Raceway Road Course. Thank you all so much for tuning in to today's broadcast. If you enjoyed it, be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to become part of the crew today. We have shown you full finished results. You'll see what the point standings look like when we get to the Irish Hills of Michigan next week. But until then, I've been Seth Cole. Thank you guys for tuning in. We'll see you guys next week for Michigan, race number 9 of Season 5 of the Duracell Cup Series, with the green flag scheduled to fly at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Until then, I've been Seth Cole. Thanks for joining me here on this Saturday afternoon. You've been watching another broadcast courtesy of the NNSCRA Offline Racing at its best.